Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're discussing an exciting and crucial development in the fight against climate change. Scientists have identified a cheap and effective way to tackle global warming, and it's finally gaining the support it needs. Let's dive into the details. A cheap fix to global warming is finally gaining support. Global support for one of the cheapest and most powerful climate actions is accelerating, and it couldn't come at a more urgent time. Countries are getting serious about slashing methane emissions from fossil fuel production, as our rapidly warming planet forces leaders to double down on solutions to control scorching temperatures within decades. Last month, Bloomberg Green reported that U.S. officials are in talks with Turkmenistan to help curb some of the world's worst methane emissions from its aging oil and gas operations. Similarly, new European Union rules could lead to significant reductions in methane emissions from coal mines across the continent. If all the gas leaked or vented by Turkmenistan's energy sector was captured and burned, and the EU rules take effect, it would have the same short-term climate impact as eliminating 290 million tons of CO2 annually. That's like canceling the emissions of Taiwan, the world's leading chip maker and 21st worst polluter. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is also expected to outline its plan for a new methane emissions fee mandated by last year's climate law. While more countries, including major emitters like China and Russia, still need to make significant cuts, these measures mark a shift towards concrete climate action. Alice C. Hill, a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, said, "The potential U.S.-Turkmenistan deal and the new EU legislation show demonstrable progress in reducing global methane pollution, demonstrating that the 2021 Global Methane Pledge is more than just a promise. Methane emissions from coal mines, natural gas, and oil production can be minimized by upgrading infrastructure and capturing leaked methane. These refurbishments can generate more products for operators to sell, and according to the International Energy Agency, around 40% of oil and gas emissions could be reduced at no net cost. In Europe, coal mines already capture much of the methane they produce, but often fail to process it for market. New EU rules could slash coal mine methane emissions by nearly 40% by 2040. Sabina Asan, a methane analyst at Ember, said, "This is basically just asking mines to improve the systems they already have in place, and it won't necessarily cost much." Turkmenistan, a sparsely populated country rarely in the international news, plays a crucial role in the global climate puzzle. Sitting atop the world's fourth largest natural gas reserves, Turkmenistan emits more methane per unit of oil and gas output than any other major producing country. President Serdar Berdimuhamedov has approved measures to study joining the Global Methane Pledge, which aims to cut global methane emissions by 30% by 2030. The U.S. could potentially provide financial assistance through the Export-Import Bank, with companies like Halliburton and SLB working to track down leaks and replace equipment in Turkmenistan. Manfredi Caltagirone, head of the International Methane Emissions Observatory, said, "It is very encouraging that Turkmenistan is stepping up efforts to mitigate its methane emissions and that international partners are ready to support Turkmenistan in this journey." The U.S. government is also moving on several fronts to address methane emissions from the oil field. The Environmental Protection Agency's expected plan will mandate routine monitoring for leaks at small wells, require blueprints for plugging them, and curtail flaring. U.S. regulators estimate that oil and gas operators could claim over 80% of the revenue from the sale of captured natural gas. The U.S. and EU made methane a top issue ahead of COP26 in 2021, rallying around 150 nations behind the global pledge. Although the goal for a 30% reduction in global methane emissions by 2030 may not be met, efforts to tackle methane emissions give confidence that releases will start to decline this decade,